And it looks like we are live. All right. I think I didn't plan on doing this live, so I'm going to see if maybe one or two people pop in. But anyway, if you're catching this on the replay, we'll go ahead and jump right into it. I am your credit solutionist. I am the owner of PX Credit Solutions, where we help you secure your financial future today. I am also the author of the 90-Day Rapid Repair mini ebook that you can download at my website right here, scrolling below at www.fixmyficonow.com. And I wanted to take the time right now to show you guys that we have a new mobile app. So if you become a client of mine, you will actually have access to your credit repair journey with my company from the palm of your hand. You will be able to see how many items are in dispute, how many items have been deleted, what we're actually working on. You can message us from here, and you can also upload any responses that you get from the credit bureaus. This is freaking amazing, okay? Amazing. All right, so now I want to jump in to today's story. Now, this is really crazy because I was looking at a news story earlier today, and I actually caught wind of it a couple of weeks ago, but I was flabbergasted by what I saw because I couldn't believe that somebody could be this goofy when it comes to lending or when it comes to home loans, right? So there's this lady named Inez Torres out in Inglewood, California. And what happened with this lady was she ended up getting a home loan. And I guess she took out a couple of mortgages on her home. And hang on one second, guys. I got to make sure that we're streaming because this story is too good. It's like a really crazy one. Mm-hmm. Okay, sorry guys, I had to make sure that I was live. I'll probably have to chop this up later. I was kind of sitting here in silence for a second. Okay, so now I know I'm streaming. I had to check on my phone. So anyways, what I want to do real quick, I hope you guys have a good attention span because what I'm going to talk about today is how this lady got scammed out of thousands of dollars and ended up eventually losing her house here in Inglewood, California, all because she did not do her due diligence. And also, she failed to literally spend an extra $30 a month that could have saved her all of the hassle. I will tell you exactly how she could have done that as we go into the video, okay? I'm gonna try to share my screen, and if you guys can see it, let me know. I am not sure how to do this, so let's see. Hopefully I don't share anything too crazy. Let me see. This one right here. All right, now if you guys can't hear this, please let me know. I just have to show you this story.
Are coming together to rally behind who says that she was wrongfully evicted from her home. Inglewood community journalist Ashley Mackey has the story.
No es justo, yo he estado pagando mi casa. Inez Torres dreamed of having a big family. She had 3 girls of her own, then adopted 4 more children, all siblings, out of LA's foster care system. She bought her Inglewood home in 2006 to make room for the 4 new arrivals. In 2012, the trouble began. Inez tried to consolidate her mortgage payments, but she says she got swindled by 2 different scammers who took her money and ran. Inez continued making payments for years, believing the loans had been consolidated, but they hadn't been. She was foreclosed on, and the home was sold at auction to Trojan Capital Investments in Newport Beach.
It's terrible when someone takes advantage of someone. Someone took advantage of Miss Torres.
Inez and her 3 youngest
I mean, did they though?
Were evicted from their home here in Inglewood just after Thanksgiving. In December, her family reclaimed the home, moving back in. And for 6 weeks, community members on the vigil here 24 hours a day in hopes of stopping another eviction.
Her savings are in this house, and for someone just to come and invest money in it to take us out, I think it's unfair.
Inez is now trying to buy back her home from Trojan Capital, the home where she raised 7 children.
This is an opportunity to teach our community that even though we have these eviction moratoriums in place, it's just a band-aid to a bigger issue in our communities and in our country.
We reached out to Trojan Capital Investments and its CEO, Don Madden III, but haven't received a response.
Of course not.
In Inglewood, Ashley Mackey, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
All right, guys, I'm back. All right, so I want to just highlight what actually happened in this story. Let me mute this other one because ABC7 is about to try to take over my computer. Okay, so long story short, here's what happened to Miss Inez. Miss Inez basically took out 2 mortgages on her house. That's already a problem, okay? She took out 2 mortgages on her house. Once she did that, what ended up happening was whoever gave her these mortgages apparently scammed her. And what they ended up doing was, I guess, taking off with the money and running. They didn't really explain what happened to the money and who she actually gave this money to, right? Now, a lot of questions came to my head when I started to look at this story. And I noticed that, you know, they had the little piano playing and all kind of stuff like that. And it got me to thinking, they want us to feel sorry for this lady. But you know me and how I do things. I have way too many questions about this because there's a few holes in this story. And to my understanding, all this lady had to do was take a couple of extra precautionary steps and this wouldn't have happened. I'm going to have an unpopular opinion here. I don't feel sorry for Miss Torres, and I'm going to tell you why. Because my number one question is, number one, why the hell did you take out 2 mortgages? That's the first question. What did you spend that money on? That's the first thing I want to know. Okay. This lady knew at some level that she could play the game and try to get extra money on some level by leveraging her property. So the lady isn't that silly, right? She's not that goofy. Second thing, I think Miss Inez has more money than she's trying to let on, because if you notice in the story, they said that this lady had, I think, 3 or 4 kids, and then she fostered a few others. Now, y'all know with foster kids, sometimes you get money. Miss Inez knows what she's doing. She has money. Now, my next question was, who was she paying? And how did Miss Inez not know that her house was about to be taken away from her? She's in California with me here. I know she had at least 200 days from the time that those loans went delinquent, or whatever loan she was supposed to be paying. She knew at least 200 days in advance that somebody was going to come knocking on her door, and eventually it was going to be the sheriff. Miss Inez knew this. I cannot see how this lady could have gone into foreclosure and not been notified, right? So let's just say maybe that is what happened. Let's just say maybe that is what happened. And can you guys hear me, by the way? Because I can't really tell if there's audio. I don't think anybody responded when I asked if you could hear me. I hope you can. But anyway, my question for Miss Inez is, did you never get the notice for foreclosure? That's my first question. And then my second question is, didn't she have to do something on her taxes with this property that she lived in for like all these years that she was getting scammed? And then my next thing is, like, was there nobody around Miss Inez to tell her that something was wrong here? Because if she wasn't getting records of the payments she was making, if she couldn't track down the people that she was paying, you know, this loan money to, I'm confused here. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, did Miss Inez do her due diligence? I don't know. And then I'm thinking, who scammed her? What do they look like? My guess is they look just like Miss Inez. I'm pretty sure, because Miss Inez doesn't speak English. I'm almost positive she kept it in her own, you know, group of people, whoever that is. But I don't know. I didn't think this story is as predatory as they're trying to make it seem. I do feel like Miss Inez skipped a couple of steps here. I mean, and I know I'm supposed to probably feel bad for this lady, but I don't, because she made so many moves to get more money. I can't sit here and wrap my brain around how this lady didn't see this coming. And then at the end, it was kind of interesting that her kid, or whoever that lady was next to her, said it's wrong for the investor to try to take the property away from Miss Inez. I'm like, really though? Is it? I'm not too sure, because I mean, I myself am going to be investing in tax liens this year. I don't see anything wrong with somebody basically paying your taxes and then foreclosing on you if you never pay the taxes back. I don't see a problem with that. So I think that the only thing that looks a little fishy here is basically the company that ended up getting the house at auction, because that's what happened. Like, she didn't pay the mortgage, then the house went to auction. This company bought it at auction and then they sold it. So that's basically what happened. I don't blame the investor, but I did do some research on the investment company. It's actually like a property managing type of real estate company that got the property out in Newport Beach. And they might be a little predatory, but they have a lot of lawsuits pending for like evictions and stuff like that. But that's pretty standard in the state of California. So I didn't look at anything, you know, I didn't think it was weird. But the other thing that caught me or struck me about this case is that, one, like I said, I don't feel sorry for her, because the other thing that they said at the end was that she's buying her house back. This lady has money. This lady has money to burn, okay? Because how could she buy the house back like that quickly, that easily? Anyway, what I wanted to point out here is that what came to my mind when I saw this story, instead of feeling sorry for this lady, what came to me was that, oh my God, if this lady had taken like certain little precautions that most of you need to be taking, and I'm taking, and everybody should be taking, this could have been avoided and nobody would be blamed for what happened. This lady literally, and I hate to say it because it's so simple, but like, if this lady knew, one, if the bills aren't coming in the mail, who are you paying? Number two, are you not keeping records of what you're doing? You should be keeping records. Number three, how are you filing your taxes? Maybe she's not filing taxes. I don't know. And then number four, I'm kind of like, were you monitoring your credit or not? Because if you were monitoring your credit, in my mind, you would have seen something fishy. You would have seen that the mortgages weren't there on your credit report. You would have seen that the payments weren't posting. There's too many holes to this story. Like, what do you guys think? Like, can you have a house foreclosed and seized without notice? Is that possible? You know, and I'm asking for a friend, low key asking for myself, because I'm thinking, why did they post this story like this? Because they're really making it seem like this lady's not responsible for anything that happened. And like I said, I'm not even yet a homeowner, and I already have specific questions. So how is it that this lady was savvy enough to buy a house, have 3 kids, foster 4 kids, and then take 2 mortgages out on her house, but somehow she got foreclosed on and didn't see it coming? How? You know what I'm saying? I'm not buying this story. And again, there was a whole lot of other political stuff that I saw in the background on that garage, but we're not going to talk about that. So the point of this video today, I'm not going to take too long. I just wanted to point out that one little $30 investment in credit monitoring could have saved Inez thousands of dollars. And it also could have made it to where she didn't get evicted, because she would have seen it on her credit report. So what I wanted to talk about real quick before I get out of here is why you have to learn to read your credit report. The main thing is so you don't end up like Miss Inez and getting evicted and then ending up on Channel 7 News and then having a random YouTuber talk about you on some random Sunday. So what I wanted to explain about your credit report is, like, perception is everything, and what is being seen on your credit report helps others perceive you, right? And in this case, like I said, this lady also could have caught on to what was happening had she looked at her credit report. So what I want you guys to understand is that you could discover a lot of things on your credit report if you either make the investment or do Credit Karma for free, whatever you want to do. It's totally necessary to do something like that, because you don't want to end up in a situation like this lady. If you have any credit out there in the world, you pretty much need to be monitoring your credit right now, like today. So thank you for that, Heir to the Throne. If you're still here, I'm glad you can hear me. Hey, Epstein. Dead guy. Okay, so here's the thing. I want to just kind of point some things out to you. This is kind of like a little quick lesson for Sunday. So when we talk about your credit report, what you want to understand is, you know, again, like I said, you're going to understand who out there is telling the world that you owe them money. Who out there is reporting information on you? Who has data that they're spreading out to the world, right? So you have to understand that in a lot of cases, when it comes to lending, you're not really going to get a second chance when they see what is listed on your credit report. So that's why it's imperative that you know what's going on every single moment, every single month, right? Like I said, you could do it with Credit Karma. I wouldn't recommend it, but you can. It'll give you at least kind of an idea of what's going on. And then you can catch things before they get to the point that you're getting evicted from a home that is supposed to be yours. Okay. You would catch things like that. So I took a few notes and we'll just go a little quick here. So I felt like I could break this down because I want to show you a couple of quick ways that you can identify errors on your credit report. And then if you need help like further with that, then obviously you can communicate with me. But I think what I'm going to talk about today should be pretty clear. All right. So a couple of things that Miss Inez could have looked at on her credit report. Number one was her payment history. Because she clearly would have seen, and again, that's 35% of your credit score. And Miss Inez could have seen that these payments were not posting to whoever she loaned this money or whoever loaned her the money, supposedly. She would have saw that the payments were not posting, right? So that's her. But what I want to talk to you guys about is how you would identify if there's payment errors on your credit report and why it's so important to identify that stuff, right? On the dramatic scale, it could be like this lady, but on the other end, it could really be erroneous information that's getting reported about you, making it look like you are not a responsible borrower, making it look like you don't, pay your bills. Case in point, I actually got a text a little bit earlier today from my business credit card. And they sent me a text that said you had a bill that was due on March 6th. And I'm like, no, duh, I paid it. Why are you telling me that I had a bill that was due? So they're kind of insinuating that I didn't pay the bill. I immediately got annoyed. And then I went on to my online to see, okay, now they're trying to say I'm late. Now I'm pissed. Okay, so I got to go on. I took a deep breath, by the way, freely. If you're still here, I didn't get that mad. But anyway, so I went on and I had to make sure that I actually got the payment or, I made the payment. The payment is there. So they kind of made me panic a little bit when they sent me the text because I'm not sure what they were getting at. They made it seem like it was late. But say something like that came through and then I didn't follow up and check the payment. Maybe it didn't go through. Maybe something happened. They would report that in 30 days. I'm sitting here thinking that my bill is paid. I ignore the text, but they may report a 30-day late in 30 days. If I don't have my credit report and I'm not monitoring and looking at that, do you know that one late payment could literally drop my score probably anywhere between 20 to 50 points? And there's nothing I can do about that. If I was late, I was late, right? Obviously, I have proof that I wasn't, but that's something that I would have been able to catch had I had credit monitoring, right? So again, with Miss Inez, she would have been able to catch it if she had that. So here's like an example of something that you could look at on your credit report, because let's say, I've actually seen this with a lot of my clients too. If you grab a copy of your credit report, you want to make sure your payment history is accurate. One of the ways you can do that is obviously look to see if, you have on-time payments every month. If you're one of those people that has late payments though, you're not like, there's kind of a way to get out of it, to be honest with you, depending on how it looks when it's reported. I've seen clients' reports where they have a series of late payments, but what you'll see when you look at the late payment is you'll see consecutive months with the same amount of lates. So it'll be like May, June, July will each be 60 days late. How is that possible? Like how can you be 60 days late for 4 months, 3 months in a row? That's not possible. Realistically, what would happen is you should see 30, 60, 90, 120, 150, 180, then write off. That's what you should see. But to have 3, 4, 5 months with like the same number of days late every single month, that's an error. So you would need to call that out either with the bureau or with your creditor. You either need to get that corrected or you need to get that removed, because just the fact that all of those consecutive late payments are reporting like that, it doesn't matter if they're 30, 60, 90, whatever. The fact is that's going to hamper your credit score. Now, I don't know if we should go too far into it, but if you have late payments, they affect you for about 24 months for the longest. So like the last, and anything that happened from now and like 2 years back, that's what's hitting you the worst. So if you have anything beyond that, you can look at it, but I would focus on the stuff that's happened in the most recent 24 months before anything else. So if you see something like that on your credit report, like I said, if you see 30-day late, 30-day late, 30-day late, 30-day late, 60-day late, 60-day late, all that, like that's not accurate. Okay. And then the other thing you'll see sometimes is like, say for the month of May 2020, Experian will say that it's 30 days late. And then Equifax will say that it's 90 days late. TransUnion will say that it was on time. Somebody's not telling the truth. Okay. So that's automatically damaging your credit score too, because 2 bureaus are saying that you were late and then 1 isn't. Have you ever seen where your TransUnion could be somewhere in the 700s and then your other 2 were like in the 6s? That's partially why, when you have those late payments on there. So anyway, I want you to just pay attention to that, you know, when you're looking at your credit report too, and get that stuff rectified. And it's just as simple as, you know, writing to the bureau and telling them to take a look at it. Okay, now let's see. The other thing I know for a fact that could have helped Miss Inez was looking at her amounts owed versus her credit limits, because she would have been able to find this out so fast. Once again, if she has seen on her credit report again that she had all this available credit when she knows damn well she has all these loans out there for those 2 mortgages, that should have sent a light bulb off in her head. But again, I already know Miss Inez was not monitoring her credit at all. I know this for a fact. But for you, in your case, you can catch something like this. Like, this is an error that actually has to be removed or corrected on your credit report, because this is definitely affecting your credit score quite a bit. It affects your score by 30%. So the 2 items we just talked about, your amounts owed versus credit limits plus your payment history, that's a whopping 65% altogether. So these are 2 very important things. Now, what you want to do is you can grab a copy of your credit report to see if all of this is reporting accurately. What you want to see is, do you have a charge off on your credit report? And if that charge off is reporting a balance, it's already telling the scoring system that you owe that money. But remember, with a charge off, how do you owe that when it's already been written off? That's a debt that you don't owe that. That shouldn't be counted as a balance that you owe, because that creditor wrote it off. They said they don't care about it anymore. So why would it report a balance? So that's already looking like you have more of a balance to your credit than you actually do. So when you go into credit repair and you talk to people, you know, like professionals and things like that, what you have to understand is, when we do your credit repair, we're looking at it from that angle. We're like, okay, it's not the fact that it's a charge off. It's the fact that the charge off has a balance. It's the fact that the charge off has the wrong effective date or opening date. It's the fact that the charge off doesn't show the full account number or whatever, you know, it's stuff like that. It's like, what, you know? But on your side as the consumer, you can talk about stuff like that when you dispute it. You can say, hey, why does this charge off have a balance on it? That's kind of weird, you know? But like I said, here's another example of your credit limits to how much credit you actually owe. You have to watch your utilization. That's basically what this is. It's another way to say utilization. You have to do a little bit of math when it comes to this, but just understand that when the credit scoring system for each of the bureaus, when they're looking at how much utilization you have, they're looking at it from a scale of all of the credit that you have all together. Okay. They're not saying, oh, well, you're using 20% of this card and you're using 10% of this card and you're using 5% of this card. No, what they do is they combine all of the credit that you have, and then they combine all of the debt that you have for all that credit as well. That's where your utilization comes from. Okay, that's where that actually comes from. It's not each card individually like that. And I guess if you really think about it, it's kind of like that, but not really. People tend to think card by card. No, it's an accumulation. So in this example, you have 2 cards that have $5,000 each, right? On one of them, you have 3,000. The other, you have 2. Combine that, that's 5. From that 5 and 5, that 10, you're using 5, 50%. I hope that made sense. If it didn't, I probably can't go back and do that again. So anyways, all right. So that's another thing that I saw for Miss Inez that she totally could have caught on to. Length of history. That's another one on her credit report. That's 15%. And I think that she totally, and I hate to keep blaming her, but the story just struck me that so much that I had to come on and talk about it. But if she had seen her length of history, again, she would have already known something was off, because when you look at your credit reports, it tells you how much credit history you have by the years, right? So if it tells you how much history you have, the new loans that she got, those 2 mortgages that she got, those would have been listed on there, right? And they would have affected the length of her credit. So again, this is stuff that interests me because I have a credit repair company, but to the average consumer, I'm just trying to point out to you how much power you have in the palm of your hand when you get those reports, right? That's what I want to try to achieve with this channel, is like, you can work with us. You can work with my company. We're actually starting credit mentoring too. If you don't want to do a monthly kind of thing, you can just work with us one-on-one. You know, credit mentoring. I feel like people need that. So that's a service that I think we're going to add to our repertoire here. Because I think sometimes you just need somebody to point things out to you on a more detailed basis than to watch a free video or have somebody do credit repair for you and you don't really know what they're doing exactly. So that's an option that we're going to start offering. But anyway, back to length of history. So your length of history can be affected in a lot of ways. You already know that if you close some of your accounts, that can affect you, right? That can affect how long you appear to be credit visible. Remember, we talked about credit visible and invisible yesterday. So that's one way. If you take off accounts, if you add accounts, that does manipulate your length of credit. The other thing that affects your history that you don't realize is that some creditors report to certain bureaus and then some don't. So let's say you have a credit card that you've had for 20 years and they decide that they only want to report to Equifax. So you have that nice 20 years of history on Equifax because it starts with that card. TransUnion and Experian, the creditor doesn't report to them. So now you're missing that 20 years of credit history. You know what I'm saying? So you got to pay attention to stuff like that. Are all of your credit cards and all of your loans reporting evenly on all of your reports? You know what I'm saying? You shouldn't have a report that says you have 10 years of history and then another report that says you have 13 years of history. Why would you have that? Which one is accurate? Somebody's not reporting properly. And since your length of credit history is 15%, it is something that you need to look into, right? So I wanted, like I said, I just wanted to kind of share this video to kind of connect the dots for you, because you can go online and look at a website that'll tell you how your credit mix works. But unless somebody actually explains to you, or not credit mix, but your credit score factors, you can read it all day, but sometimes it's better if somebody can just explain it to you. So that's what I'm trying to do today. You know, it's Sunday, whatever. Anyway, with your credit mix, that's another thing that Miss Inez could have looked at for sure. Y'all are quiet today too. I must be talking a lot because I'm trying to get this done. But your credit mix is very important. That, like I said, on one of my videos, I forget which one it was, but I believe credit mix it should have more than 10% of your overall credit score. If I had it my way, it would be like 30% because I think it's so important. And again, if Miss Inez had known about credit mix, she would have caught this, because she would have seen that she had 2 mortgages. She would have seen that she had credit cards, installments, whatever, right? Your credit mix is important because it shows lenders that you are able to handle all different kinds of debt. It shows them that not only can you pay a revolving account, which fluctuates every month, but you can pay a set amount of debt. So like an installment, like a car note, a mortgage, a student loan, anything like that, where they see that one solid payment every single month. That's a big deal, especially when you want to try to qualify for a home. I personally think that they care more about, can you handle installments? That's what I think. But again, with credit mix, if this lady had looked at her credit reports, she would have literally seen she didn't have all those kinds of accounts on her report. So that would have been a red flag. If this company is legit and it's something as big as a mortgage, and you took out 2 mortgages with these people, don't you think that would have been reported to the Bureau at some point? Again, I don't know who this lady had in her corner, but this ain't working. I don't know. I would be very, very leery of the people around me if they allowed me to get caught up like this lady did. And last but not least, credit inquiries. Again, she would have caught it if she had seen the inquiry for her to get those 2 mortgages. She would have seen it, and then she would have known that this company was legit. If she were to pull her credit report today, I'm almost positive that none of the information that I talked about today is on there at all. It's not on there at all. So at this point, my only question is, if you're here, if you feel like working your fingers, whose fault is this really? Like, that this happened to this lady? Because I literally just told you how you can catch a whole bunch of errors on your credit report. I literally just laid it out for you to where I connected the dots of how this lady would have caught on if she just looked at her credit report. I mean, am I wrong here? Because I feel like, has she made the extra little investment, or has she just typed a little something into Credit Karma, she would have been informed, and she wouldn't have been scammed out of thousands of dollars. Because again, I don't understand how this happened. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't even know if I went through all the questions that I had, because I typed them out, because I'm just like, how does this happen? And like I said in the beginning, it is a predatory method, but I believe the person that did this to her, or people, because she said it was more than one person, the 2 people that did this to her, or the 2 businesses or entities or whatever they were, the 2 people that did this to her, they did it because they knew they could. You know what I'm saying? Like, she clearly didn't come across as a savvy person. And then what I also noticed in this is that she had 7 kids. I think it says 7 or 8 kids. And the ones that were in the video all looked like they were adults. So I'm confused about why none of them had any questions. I'm confused about that, right? I'm also confused about, where is Mr. Torres, right? No judgment, but I'm like, where is Mr. Torres? Why didn't she have a brother, a husband, an uncle, a something that could have looked at this and told her something was wrong, right? Then I started thinking, what kind of contracts did this lady sign? Did she read them? Were they in English? Were they in her native tongue? Because like I said, if you looked at the video at the beginning of the broadcast, she didn't speak English. So were these how did it? And maybe I'll understand when I finally purchase a house, but I don't understand how you could go through getting one mortgage, taking out a second mortgage, and then I guess doing another one, some kind of cash loan or something against the house or something, and not understand what was going on that entire time. Because it's my understanding that when you do take out second mortgages and things like that, you're supposed to shop around before you do that, right? So did she shop around? What happened? That's really my question here. And again, being in California, there's no way that this lady did not get notified. I feel like I sound irritated, but it's because this story does not make sense to me. And because I know, because of the business that I'm in, it's like, you literally could alleviate all of this if you just get informed. So I wanted to share that with you guys, because I want to make sure you understand the importance of monitoring your credit, paying attention to letters when they come in, paying attention to your bank accounts, looking at what goes in, what goes out, because things like this can happen. And then at the end of the day, again, this poor lady was on her own, apparently, because nobody around her was savvy enough to speak up and say, hey, mom, or hey, aunt, or hey, sister, this looks weird. Why are you taking out so much money on your house? What's going on here? You know? And again, I guess I'm not going to judge how people spend their money, but I'm thinking, like, what does she need all that money for? You know what I mean? Like, Like, what does she need it for? So she has money, obviously, too, because they said that she's trying to buy her house back. So just too many questions for me on this one, you guys. I don't know. I would love to say that the person that did this to her or the people are predators, but they're not. And I definitely don't blame, well, okay, sorry. They are predators because they're scammers. I shouldn't have said it like that. They are scammers. Hold on, guys. Now, okay, hold on. Sorry, I'm just not learning how to do this streaming stuff. Hopefully y'all can see me the whole time and not my screen. That was my notes. But anyway, the scammers are scammers. Scammers are going to scam. Okay. They're going to do what they do. That's why it's so important for you as the consumer to be on the ball, right? I don't care if you're getting free information or if you're paying for it to be, you know, put in a class or something like that. Do what you do. But at some point, it is your fault. Okay. I'm going to venture to say about 3-4 months into this became Inez's fault. Okay. I don't care. I know it's an unpopular opinion, but it is her fault. Okay. And no amount of putting little signs out on the patio or the garage that say, don't evict me during the pandemic. I don't care, because at the end of the day, this lady knew this eviction was coming and this foreclosure was coming long before this happened, long before all of the events of 2020 happened. And I think if this lady has spent $30 on her credit monitoring, she literally could have saved thousands of dollars. And then I don't know if you saw, but they had a candlelight vigil in front of this lady's house because she didn't know how to read her mail and because she didn't check her credit report. Everybody had to take time out of their day to go do a damn candlelight vigil to try to save her from getting evicted. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. I may have to take this one down because I feel like I sound insensitive, but I just feel like you get so much warning before someone kicks you out of your home. Your home. You own it. I don't buy that this lady just got kicked out by the new owner. She knew that house was going up for auction. She knew it. And the reason I know she knew it, like I said, I'm going into investing into tax liens. It's like, dude, when I actually started. Oh, thank you if you're there. I just got your text. I can't even pretend like I don't get people's texts. But anyway, what I was going to say is that when I looked at the tax lien process, and I think I've talked with like 1 or 2 people that are here about it, when you look at the way it works, like you have to get notified so many times, because in this case, this guy was able to foreclose in California because the lady didn't pay her mortgage. But now my question is, was she not paying her property taxes either? Like, what really happened? I feel like there's more to this story. You know what I mean? Like, if I were to go to, I think the state, let's pick a state. I was going to do New Jersey, and I totally got outbid. It was so embarrassing, you guys. But, and really, if you're into different ways of investing, tax liens is, I think, something that's going to be very big this year. Like, it's already massive, it's huge, but I think this year it's going to really be different because so many people couldn't pay their mortgages, or they basically, not mortgages, but their taxes. And they basically just decided not to do it and just throw their hands up. And moratorium or not on throwing people out of their houses, your taxes are still due no matter what. That part doesn't matter. So that's what makes like the tax lien process so interesting. And at this point, when I went in and did it at New Jersey online, I got outbid so fast. Like, I thought it was going to be such an easy process, and it totally wasn't. Now, if it was so hard for me to like bid on a tax property or a tax lien and all that kind of stuff, it's hard for me on the other end to say this person, again, was not notified. Don't forget, I talked about it last night. My background, my career has been compliance. That's my background. I look at contracts. I look at the loopholes. I look at that stuff for a living. So it's like, no, the only reason this lady's going to be able to buy her house back is because this company is going to back down, because they don't want a major lawsuit, especially not right now in the state of California with the way things are going. But if everything was hunky dory, I didn't mean to say hunky like that, but if everything was if everything was on the up and up, believe me, this lady would not be getting her house back. Like, I'm almost positive she would not get her house back, because this company that bought it at auction, they didn't say how much they bought it for. I would love to see the record if I could, but I'm pretty sure they paid probably a couple $100,000 for it, because if she lived in Inglewood, Inglewood is really going up in price right now. So that would have been a great investment for them to pick up that property. But anyway, what I was going to say is, just because I see the tax lien process can get a little complicated for me as a novice investor. Again, I mean, there's no way, there's just no way she didn't know. There's just no way, you know? So I saw too many holes in the story. Y'all know me. I'm always trying to find a hole somewhere. But what is that, Matt? What is that? Oh, that's messed up, Matt. Oh, not the candle. Wow. And they had those little glass ones out there too. The, you know which ones they do for the, oh God, the ones with the saints on them and stuff. Anyway, you know what I'm talking about. They're like $1 at the store. You know, they had all those out there and stuff, and posters everywhere. I saw a Malcolm X poster on the garage. It was a hot mess, but it was definitely a California story for sure. That this whole story has California written all over it. It has, that's all I'm going to say. I'm not going to get too deep. This is a credit channel. But yeah, that was all I had today, guys. I just wanted to show you, you know, how ridiculous it can get. And, you know, the power of blaming other people is amazing. You know, it never ceases to amaze me. And when like I said, when I came across this story, I just thought, man, you know, your average person's going to think that this lady got scammed and it's all their fault, the other people's fault. It's not. When you're a homeowner, you're at a whole different level. Like, you should know more about life than this, you know, and let it be a lesson. Don't take out a second mortgage if you're not going to read the paperwork, or hire somebody to read it for you. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I got you. Oh, Lord, man, you're going to get me struck by lightning. I'm not supposed to laugh at that, Matt. Thank you. Anyway, that was all I had for you guys today, because I know I can't stay on and babble for an hour. I didn't have that much content, but that's all I wanted to talk about. And I want to encourage you to, like I said, monitor your credit. I don't care if you pay for it or not. You're better off paying for it, but I want you to take advantage of something right now if you haven't already. I believe that they said that the credit bureaus or credit reporting agencies, Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion, I think all three of them right now are still giving free credit reports. So some of them you may have to go to the website to register for something to get it for free. So if that's the case, you can decide whether or not you want to do something like that. Or you can go to annualcreditreport.com, I believe the website is, and you can download all of them for free. And I think they are allowing you to do it once a week. And I believe that's until the end of this year or something like that. Like they extended it out for quite some time. So do that, and maybe come back to this video or go back to an article online or look at something that you can reference back. You know, my explanations might not always be the clearest, but you need to get informed. I don't care who you learn the information from. You need to learn it. And again, if you have one credit card, you need to monitor your credit, because you're in the credit world. Somebody's reporting on you. So you have every right to know what is being reported about you and how you're being interpreted by prospective lenders. Okay. And you can also discover if you are being preyed upon, if your identity's been stolen, all kinds of stuff. You can find out so much by monitoring your credit. So, let's see. And Matt, y'all listen to Matt. Matt got a big old farm. He like Bill Gates up in here, except he uses his land. He doesn't just buy it for the hell of it. Yeah, I was wondering what this lady did, Matt, because they never quite said exactly what she did. They're just like, oh, she took out 2 mortgages. And I'm like, okay, but she did that so she could get money for something. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, at least whatever the hell she needed that money for, I hope she spent it on something that was worth it. Because like I said, that little $30 or I think the cheapest one we have at my company, I think it's 21 now. We actually have a new company that we work with that we added to our system too. Because if you sign up with our credit repair service now, your credit monitoring is actually included. So it's with a different company, but yeah, it's included. It's not like an extra thing that you have to pay for, unless you want to, of course. Because we do have one that we offer where you can check your FICO scores, and then we have one where it's just your Vantage scores and stuff like that. So yeah, I encourage people, whichever one you want to go with is up to you. But yeah, with this, again, Matt, like I said, I think this lady knew what she was doing. I don't feel like this lady is as innocent and as like helpless as ABC7 is trying to make her appear. I don't think that. I'm seeing a trend whenever, you know, somebody's making bad decisions financially. They're always made to look like the victim. Like what we talked about last night when we were, you know, talking about the becoming credit visible and having a level playing field and stuff like that. The country and the system that we have now wants to reward people that have made a ton of mistakes and aren't doing anything to fix them. You know what I'm saying? Because the one thing about our conversation last night that when I reflected back on it, I was like, you know what? This is like crazy, because we're literally not trying to help people become more financially literate. What we're trying to do is we're trying to coddle them, and we're just going to push them into the next stage of debt. That's all we're doing. You know what I'm saying? We're not actually helping anybody do anything. Like that whole paper that they wrote, Demos, it's in my other video. I guess I can't go too far into it, but I don't see how creating a system where they don't have to do anything different so they can get a foot into the game makes sense. Like, sorry, and I know you can see my wheels turning because I can't make sense of it. It's like if you're not offering them any solutions, you're just gonna put them in this kind of corral them up and move them over and not really teach them anything. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like if you can't even get credit, if you can't establish a profile, if you can't take those steps to do those things, you don't deserve to play the game. Like you don't get to play in this game because you're refusing to invest in yourself. You're refusing to, you know, take part in a system that works a certain way. We don't have to break the system and make it different so you can play. Like we don't have to do that. God, that's probably so unpopular that I said that, but it's not helping is what I'm saying. If you allow all of those people that are credited invisible to then become visible by, you know, utility bills and all that stuff, you end up with a whole bunch of people like Inez. So let's get ready to just pay the tab for that. 5 acres. Yes. Oh, Matt, that's so awesome, dude. So awesome. You know, I was looking at land out here in California, like not even going to front. I'm trying not to talk about my plans too much because, you know, you're not supposed to have a plan. But one of my goals is to purchase land. And I'm not going to say in what time frame because I don't need people clocking me and keeping tabs. But I do want to buy some land. And I was looking at a couple of, or considering some plots here in California. The funny thing is, like, there's some plots that are for sale like here in this in this part of the city. And I think one of them I saw was in Silver Lake. But when you looked at the piece of property, it was so, like, the way it was set up was so weird. Like it was between two houses. It was like this weird triangle and it goes uphill. Because if you're familiar with Silver Lake and Echo Park, like it has a certain aesthetic to it. But anyway, it's very hilly over there. And there was nothing you could do with that land. But, oh, hang on, guys. Sorry. Dang, ABC7 kicked me off their website. They probably heard me talking mess about Miss Inez. Okay. But anyway, the only thing that was there was a bench, like a park bench. Somebody kind of perched a bench up there to kind of make it look hip. And I'm like, no, why would you purchase that? For what? But anyway, there's a lot of land, I think, out in, I saw Lancaster and how do you say it? Tehachapi, I think is how you say it. Tehachapi. Where else did I see land? I saw some, gosh, where did I see it? I saw Lancaster, Tehachapi. Basically, it's all the dry areas. Oh, I saw some spots in the Mojave part of California. But again, those are very hot, very desolate places. There's no utilities there, nothing like that. It would just be a place to go to maybe shoot guns or something. Oh God, I don't know if I can say that on YouTube. But that's all you would do. Maybe a child did that. I've seen that before. You know, what I was thinking, Matt, is that something the daughter said really struck me. And I think that was this lady's daughter, but this goes to show you how minor, or how, what's the word? How limited some people's thinking is. This girl actually said, I don't think it's fair that an investor can come and take my property or my mom's property or something like that, she said. I'm like, wait a minute, sweetie. Yes, they can. Because when you stop paying your bills, and if we don't see you paying bills on paper and you're not doing your due diligence, nobody else has to do your due diligence. That's why they call it due diligence. You have to do it. So I thought, this girl doesn't understand how money works. Because what do you think investors do? It's like, that's a big part of the game this girl doesn't even understand. And like I said, I don't even own property yet. And I don't see a problem with what this investor did. Now, I will say this, if there was some sort of way that, because I'm trying to think of like, how could the investor not purchase the property? And that would only be if there was some sort of lien or something on the property, right? But even then, I don't know. This company is pretty big. It's called Trojan. What are they called? I looked them up somewhere. It's Trojan something. I don't know. Anyway, they're a big enough company here in California, based out of Newport Beach of all places. Excuse me, guys. Excuse me. I doubt that they. What were they supposed to do? You know, if anybody in the chat knows, like, what the hell were they supposed to do other than invest? Because that's really what it is. Again, when I looked at the tax lien stuff, all you have to do is just go to see if anybody else has a lien on the property. And then even if they do, at the end of the day, all it's probably going to do is stop you from obtaining the property. It's not going to stop you from getting paid. Because remember, when you deal with a tax lien, in this example, you're paying a person's property taxes. Taxes trump everything, because remember, you have to pay taxes on the land that house sits on. You're not paying taxes for the house. You're paying taxes for what's underneath it. Okay. So you are going to get paid regardless with the tax lien. It's whether or not you're going to be able to get the property if they don't pay the taxes back to you plus interest, So that's a great system. Anyway, I'm so looking forward to getting into it. It's going to be so great. Hey, the True Light from Imaginary South Central. We're going to talk about that. I'm going to have to pull up an article. I'm going to do some research on that, because I don't think, South Central don't exist. Southern Indiana, 90 acres, old growth forest, 2 ponds, spring, feed, and a creek. Three outbuildings, all utilities. When you say out, do you mean outhouses? What do you mean, Matt? Is that Indiana speak? I don't know what that means. Oh, and you got all of that for this price that you're saying right here? See, at that price, that's, gosh, I don't even think there's anything in Los Angeles that costs that. Now, there's a lot of plots of land that are in that price range, but definitely not 90 acres, like you said. 90 acres here, depending on where it's at, could be, gosh, more than $1 million actually. I've done some looking. There's a few land websites I've gone to as well. I think there's one that's called like Buy Sell Land or buyland.com or something like that. But when you look at California, the prices are ridiculous. Ridiculous. Let's see. Hold on. Let me go back. I don't want to skip nothing. It's a little slow. Sorry, guys. What? That makes no sense. I'm not sure what you're talking about, but probably something about Missy Nez. And you're right. Missy Nez don't make no sense. Just do the math on a no prepaid penalty mortgage. Say your payment is $1,000 a month. Only $250 goes on the principal. You pay the interest. Do the math. Now, Matt, with the with mortgages and the payments that you make, if I'm not mistaken, when you pay your mortgage, you can tell them, like, you can make the payment for your principal, but then make the interest payment. But can't you pay more money and then tell them what portion you want to go to principal? That's possible, right? Like, that's something that you can do. Or and I would assume that would be the case with the no prepay. Oh no. With the no prepay penalty, because there's no penalty for prepaying. So you would be able to pay more on the principal, right? And you can tell them that that's how you want to post your payments, right? Because some loans, they won't let you do that, of course. South Central Destiny is Hill. Yes. And that's what I'm saying. Like, okay, the true light. If I don't know if you caught it at the beginning, but I was talking about a story about a lady in Inglewood. She took out 2 mortgages on her house, and then she ended up getting the house foreclosed on, and then she got evicted. She didn't wise up on what was going on until she got evicted. My point is, she had to go through foreclosure first before she got evicted by the new owner. So this is BS. But I think the lady took out the 2 mortgages because she, I think, if I'm not mistaken, the article says she did it in 2012 or something like that. She did this when property prices were starting to go up in that part of town, in Inglewood. This lady wasn't stupid. That's what I'm saying. I hate when they try to make it look like people are just so stupid. Like, the only thing that was dumb was she took out 2 mortgages, but she only did it because obviously, you know, her property must have increased. Her property value must have increased. And 300 plus, I would actually say they're probably going to start to raise up a little bit more. Because again, since I don't believe South Central exists, you got to name some streets for me so I can know where you're talking about. Because I don't know what area of LA houses are 300,000. Because if they are 300,000, I can almost guarantee you, as the owners start to die, I think people are going to go in and start purchasing those properties. Because I even thought about that, to be honest with you. I thought, you know, if my plan for purchasing property goes properly, 2020 was actually a good thing for some people, but you would have had to have had the cash to, you know, get ready to purchase right now. But a $300,000 house, like let's say in East LA, is not a bad idea. Because I'll actually tell you guys a story if you care to listen. When I was about 24 or 25, I think it was, no barn shed and a place to build. I was wanting to purchase a house. And this is when I started to see that my bad credit was really going to start to affect me. So now maybe I was older than 24. I'm not even going to say it because y'all ain't supposed to know how old I am anyway. But I was in my mid 20s. Anyway, when I was going in and talking to the realtor, you know, she pulled my credit and she gave me literally a game plan of what to do. So I'm not going to act like this lady didn't tell me what to do. I literally, when she told me what I had to do, I just acted like I didn't understand, or like I acted like it was going to be too much. She literally told me, save $24,000 in 2 years and you can come back and get this place. And it was one of the places I was considering, like when we talked about how much I could qualify for if I did what she told me to do. I was going to be able to get a 4-unit property in East LA. And I think it was, it was under 400,000, because I think the most I could get at the time was either it might have been like 275 or 325, somewhere between there. And it's weird because when thinking back that far, I'm like, I had an investment mind, but my fear held me back, and my limiting belief that I couldn't save $24,000 in 2 years. How sad, because imagine had I bought that place. Dude, y'all probably wouldn't even know me because I would already have rental income and I probably would have already purchased multiple properties. But we can always talk about shoulda, woulda, coulda. You know what I mean? We can only start with today. And that's the whole point. You know what I mean? It is what it is. But yeah, I started my property journey a long time ago, but then just stopped. So not me. We looked at it looking, oh, okay. So it's not something that you have yet. Do you want to move, Matt? Like, do you want to move to a different place from where you are? Or would you just, I guess, keep it and move on? You know what I mean? Like keep it and then maybe rent it to one of us. You know what I'm saying? I'll relocate to have some land, but I got to have somebody on it to help me tend it. So, you know what I'm saying? I'm not very handy that way. Okay. They won't make you pay. They won't take anything anything less than the full amount. If you pay more, you mark it as principal. Okay. So you can, okay. That's great. So a 30-year mortgage with 5 times the principal a month going down cuts it to around 10-year loan. Listen, they probably gonna make me take this down. You giving too much game, Matt. When are you coming on? You know what I'm saying? Hey, listen, Crenshaw and Slauson. Gosh, man, that brings me back, bro. Like I remember we used to cruise down Crenshaw. Gosh, I can't believe we thought that was safe, man. That was so insane. Like, I don't know how old everybody in the chat is that's in California, but like, there used to be a time where you would like cruise up and down Crenshaw, or you would cruise up and down Sunset if you were like bougie. But like teenagers did it, 20-somethings did it, everybody did it, and you would just get in the car. And like by the time you got to Slauson, you were just like, oh crap, we're in the hood, dude. This is crazy. We're in the hood. But I think Crenshaw and Slauson is going to change. And the only reason I say that is because it's so close to like coming down off of where the Fox Hills are. You know, if anything that's close to that area, you know what I'm saying? That's gonna skyrocket. I don't even have to be in the market to know that. You can just drive through that area and you know, because certain homes over there are just amazing. She knew what she was doing. Yes, Miss Torres did know what she was doing. Because like I said, remember, when I look at stories, y'all have to understand, like, again, with my compliance mind, you need to develop a compliance mind. They try to say it's a suspicious mind, but it's like, no, you have to learn to be inquisitive, or you have to look at things from more than one angle. Because like I said, this lady was savvy. Anytime I hear a person that has a lot of kids and then they take on foster kids or they adopt more kids, I'm like, this person isn't just doing this because they have a good ass heart. No, people do that because it's money, man. I remember my best friend in school, man, they were ghetto as hell. Like that was my one true crazy ghetto Black experience, having that one Black best friend. That girl was hood, man. But I will tell you, I remember her grandmother adopted a whole bunch of kids, and I might have been like 10 or 11 at the time. And I remember my best friend telling me, she said, my grandmother, she said that she adopted some of these kids because she gets a check every month. Kids will tell on you, okay? Because my friend had no business telling me that. But from that point on, I was like, oh my God, people use kids as a check. And then even when I work on the Section 8 paperwork for HUD housing, the subsidized paperwork that I do, north, south, east, and west, I don't care what state it's in, there's always somebody with 1 or 2 kids that are getting SSI every single time, right? They won't go for that child support, but they'll go for that SSI, boy. They do it all the time. I'll tell you, if it wasn't illegal to share that paperwork, my Lord, anything going to the 110 South. You know, we were talking about USC yesterday. It's just weird, man. I don't understand. LA is so strange like that, though. I honestly feel if you have the money right now, though, invest in Los Angeles, because I mean, what's a couple of tents in your front yard, right? What's a couple of tents really? You know what I mean? But no, I mean, if you find a property that's like a good price and it's in Los Angeles, I don't know what part of LA you shouldn't purchase in, because nobody really well, okay, I shouldn't say nobody says you have to live in the house, depending on what kind of loan it is. Obviously, you may have to live there for the first year or whatever. But I think that, well, I have a different way of seeing property. I look at property as an investment. Like when I purchased my first home, it's not going to be like this white picket fence situation that everybody's like talking about. It's probably not going to be that. It's probably going to be a place, like I said, more than one unit. It's going to be, maybe I'll be in the front and my tenants will be in the back, you know, whatever. It's going to be an investment, because I really, depending on how your life is structured, like Miss Inez Torres here, she structured her life, you know, in a certain way, and she did it for a certain reason. And I think for me, that's kind of what I see right now. It's like, I could see it being more of an investment. And then it's like, if it's something that I want to live in and make pretty and do all this other stuff, that'll happen. You know what I mean? It'll come. But I think just to have a house just for the sake of it, it's like, I don't know how smart that is. But then again, I mean, you have a house, so that's good. If first-time buyer and looking into country, Department of Agriculture does 0 down loans. Check it out if you're looking for that. Now, is that like the USDA loans with the Department of Agriculture? And it's funny because I actually have a couple of the program, they call it is oh God, I can't say this word, rural development. I work with a site, and I'm so not familiar with this program, you guys. It is crazy, but it's the property itself. It's you know, a regular apartment building, but it has USDA funding, I guess, or something. I haven't really looked into it to see what I'm even doing. You know, and I hope I succeed with this property, because it's just like, dude, I don't understand that program, but it's so simple, it's almost scary. And like everybody pays like $50 that lives there. And it is so weird. But is that what you're talking about, Matt? The USDA loan? Because I heard that those are easy to get, but you have to live like out in the boondocks, which for me is not that big of a deal as long as I have Wi-Fi. So not a huge deal. Most mortgage lenders don't know that. Don't know what? Don't know. Gosh, I wish you guys could talk verbally to me. Oh, the thing that you were talking about at the top. Okay, the 30-year. Okay, gotcha. See, TJ South, I'm more with that. I think that, because again, I know there's a connotation when you say South Central. And to me, that's bogus. It's bogus, because if I were to say West LA, you would be like, ooh, you know, and nobody ever says North LA, but hell, that's what Hollywood is. Hollywood is North LA. That's what it is. You know what I mean? But it's like when you say certain cities, people get this weird energy. But like I said, if you go to that town or that part of town and buy a house, yeah, you know what I'm saying? You might have to dodge a few bullets or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Just get you some good homeowners insurance and, I don't know, stick some tenants up in there. You ain't got to live in that house. But it would be a great investment to have a house over there. You know, I don't care what anybody says. It's going to be good. It's going to be good. And I researched a property the other day that I see is on the market. And it was very interesting. It's not too far away from here, but it's like in a regular residential. And I think it's an apartment building. It's going for like 2-point-something million. And well, that's the asking price anyway. I don't know if they're going to get it. But there's a property that's actually, there's one across the street right here. Yeah, yeah. And that place, I know for sure that those units are so small. And I looked about like 2 years ago to see how much a townhome, I think is what they call them, or maybe a condo, how much they cost. And just one at one of those places was 700 and something thousand. And I remember thinking, really? That's a glamorized apartment is what that is across the street over there. That's what that is. It's not a condo. That's an apartment. Okay. And it's just interesting when you look at how property is looked at or treated based on where it's located. Now, without saying too much, because I mean, whatever, but about the South Central thing, I don't know that that means anything, like I said, because what is a zip code really? You know, like I said, there's a 700,000 something condo that's like no bigger than probably 700 square feet. And they're able to ask for almost $800,000 for it. But there's prostitutes on the corner. You know what I'm saying? Like when I drove home today from church, I will tell you guys what I saw. I almost took a picture. I can't even believe I'm telling y'all this, but I took a picture. There was a man in some boxer briefs laying on a couch. I don't know where the couch came from, but it wasn't there last night, but it was on the corner. And this guy was laying there in his underwear. He was like face down on the couch. Again, couch on the sidewalk. I want to be clear on what I'm saying here. And he had like his little stuff, his little belongings around the couch. I don't know that those kinds of surroundings, you know, justify the 700 something $1,000 price tag. The only way I could see that being beneficial is because it's an investment. It's because when you sell it, it's going to be able to sell for more than you bought it for. That's it. It's not because you love the neighborhood. It's not because, you know, it's convenient to live here. It's not convenient to walk over bums, but it's something that you may do if you see the investment is worth it. But again, if I had something like that, I wouldn't live there. I would purchase it and then I would rent it out. I wouldn't live there. Not with a guy on a couch in his underwear right outside. Not going to do it. 24K in 2 years is $1,000 a month. Woulda, shoulda, coulda. Listen, I am about to embark on a very interesting journey, and I'm trying to decide if I want to document it or not, because I want to give people hope, and not just hope, but I want to show that certain things are possible. Because what I've started doing with myself is getting out of the mind frame of thinking that things are not possible because I'm by myself, or because, let's say I have a goal, right? And I can tell you what my goal is to make every year, but the goal that I have is so astronomical to your average person. It has to stay between me and God. I can't even, I can't even share it with people without getting clowned. But it's like, when I think about that, depending on who I share that with, they are going to tell me that it's impossible. You know what I mean? Because, you know, 24K in 2 years, woulda, shoulda, coulda is exactly how I felt the day she told me that. And now looking back, now that I understand the dynamics of how business can work, and, you know, you set your own price, you set your value and stuff like that. 24,000 in 2 years is absolutely possible. Absolutely possible. And it really comes with just changing. First, you got to believe it can happen. I'm not going to get woo-woo on you, but first you got to believe it can happen. And then once you know that it can happen, there's a girl that she's like, literally, I have like 2 mentors and they have no clue they're my mentors. But I see this girl as a mentor. I'm in a couple of classes that she has. And, you know, her thing is have your goal and work backwards. So if your goal is 24,000 in 2 years, you said $1,000 a month. I can attest, if you have a car, get your ass out there and deliver some food. Get your ass out there and do something with that car that you have. You can make an extra $1,000 a month. Absolutely. When you really think of, I mean, that's like a part-time job. That's a part-time job, right? When you really think about it, am I wrong here? You know, I mean, $1,000. What is that? I got a calculator here. Thank you guys for humoring me, by the way. Let's see, 30. Bro, hold on. Maybe my math is off. Hold up. I'm over here saying I'm an auditor and shit. And, you know what I'm saying? All right. So I did $1,000 divided by 31 days. $32.25. $32.26 if you want to round up. That's some perspective for you. That's $32 a day. All right, let me do the math again just to make sure I ain't tripping. Bruh, I'm not wrong. The calculator can't be wrong this many times. $32 a day. Now, the question is, do you want to do that work every day for 2 years? That's the question. That's the question. You know what I'm saying? That's the question. No, just more land. Okay. But anyway, yeah, pick a goal and work backwards. It's not easy. It's easier said than done. But when you start to think of it in those terms, which I'm starting to think of it in those terms, it helps. And there's one thing that I started doing. Let me see. I don't know if I have it here. Hold on, guys. Whew. Lord, I can't wait to move. I got boxes everywhere. So this is in no way an endorsement of this person, but this book right here called Black Lettuce, and y'all already know who's gonna be talking about Black Lettuce. What is that? I'm still trying to figure out the graphic on the front, but I think it's supposed to be a head of lettuce, but it looks like it has a mask on it and stuff. But anyway, there's a guy, because in the credit repair industry, I like to support other credit repair company owners. And this guy is a guy that I follow, and I think that he's amazing. His name's Jason White. And it seems corny, but you need to track what you do with your life, whether it's money, whatever. Like, you need to sometimes write stuff down, because I'm finding for myself, I was never really a good tracker. And that's why I always thought 24,000 in 2 years was impossible, because I'm not tracking. And I never sat down and did that simple math right there. I never sat down and did that simple math, because when you look at it from a grand scale, it's scary. It scares you, but it's not that difficult once you just jump in. It's not. Why the confused little white man? I don't know what that is. Fig and Hoover. Oh God, you guys. Let's not be trying to let everybody know where the hood is, okay? It's only going to be the hood for so long. I give it maybe 5 more years. Honestly, LA is going to look so different. That's why it's going to be weird after I leave. It's just going to be strange coming back, but real commodity equals property. Okay, we might be getting to, oh, I thought it was at the bottom. It's absolutely correct on the adoption foster care bit. Yep, it's a business. And I wish Extreme was here tonight. I don't know if Extreme is on the stream, but Extreme was saying something last night on the chat about the red number on the back of the Social Security card or something. I don't know what that was about. That sounded interesting though. I have to Google that one day. Talking about land classified as agriculture use. So that's not the USDA thing, or is it? I think maybe that's why you were saying yes. Yes, it is. Okay. Boonies. Yep. And that's okay. Like, I mean, that's the other thing too. Like, I'm a city girl at heart, but I wouldn't mind living somewhere rural. I said it right. Okay. I wouldn't mind living somewhere rural for a while. That would be kind of cool. You know what I mean? Because the city, living in the city does something. It does something to you after a while. Get FHA 203K loan, buy a 4-unit, fix it up, rent 3 of the units, live in the 4. Hello. The rent from the 3 gives you enough to pay back the loan. You're living rent free. Jalabi. Whew. Thank you. I will tell you, it changes. You got to sometimes expand like who you talk to as well, because like I said, your average person that I know literally thinks you have to have just one house to have a family in. And I'm like, okay, that sounds good, but can I have my family in that unit in the front? You know, like, do I have to have just one house? Like, why can't I see real estate like a business? Why does it have to be this one thing just because it's somebody else's idea? It's like, no, like, we got to start getting real about situations, right? And I'm like, bruh, that right there. Yes, because with FHA, right, we have to live on site for, what is it, the first year or something, or first couple of years, whatever it is. Because that's the thing. Excuse me. I'm a credit person. I'm not a home person. So I'm learning real estate and property. Like, my job is to help you qualify for it. I don't know what happens once you get into it, right? So that's another part of my business that I want to learn, you know, because that's the next step for me, you know? So yeah, but I love that. That's the kind of stuff, and that's the kind of those are the kinds of conversations that I want to have now. Jalabi. That's it right there. For sure. Boys in the Hood. Funny story, dude. They did a story about Ice Cube and how he's a fake gangster. And what they were saying is that he grew up in South Central, but he was schooled in the Valley. He actually got bused to school for the majority of his life as, I think, a teenager. So he's not really hood. That's a facade, you know. And they remember Dr. Dre in his shiny suits and stuff. Y'all be falling for that mess. It'll keep you broke. But yeah, South Central equals boys in the hood for sure. And when you think about it, everybody that was from South Central that got rich, they all kind of left. And the ones that came back got shot. So yeah, anyway, programming. I'm assuming that you mean something conspiracy theory related. Okay. Is that a house? Looks like a California house too. Is that a palm tree next to it? I agree. Those are good properties to stick tenants in, not to live. But either way, the next decade, that entire area is going to shift. Yeah, the True Light. What do you think as far as the shift goes? Because I think that everybody right now is getting really wrapped up in this idea that there's tents and homeless people and all this stuff, right? For some reason, they're thinking that it's going to make property value drop. It's not, okay? Because like we talked about last night, there is an underlying plan happening right now where poor people are going to get pushed out of the cities. Most of the people that are in these neighborhoods, like, you know, Inglewood, South LA, Crenshaw and Slauson, the ones that owned those homes from like years and years and years ago, yeah, some of them still have those houses, but they're so old now. The actual owner is so old, or they're dead and they already passed it on to their children. And because their children are either money hungry or they don't understand, you know, I guess appreciation in real estate, they just sell the house because they just want the money. If anybody sold a house in California or like in LA, unless it was just decrepit and falling apart, I can't see why you would sell a piece of property here right now. Because even as a renter, I can see like the potential. I can see the value. You know what I mean? And I just don't see LA going down like that. I don't see it because there's too many industries here for this place to go down in value. All you have to do is take a broom outside and a water hose and you could wash the homeless people away. They're going to put them all back on Skid Row. That's what they're going to do. I know that's not nice to say, and this conversation took a funny turn, but that's what's going to happen. And property value is going to stay exactly what it is. Over in downtown LA, I know that I know a guy, he's in a penthouse, and I looked to see how much rent they pay at that place. This dude pays like $3,000, which is cheap for a penthouse to be on the top floor in downtown LA. Very cheap. Now he pays that, but literally cannot walk outside without walking over a homeless person or a pile of poop or something. People are always going to pay those prices. So poor people are going to be gone. The people with the good new money are going to come in. You know, they're going to drive the prices up. And yeah, you're going to wish that you kept your house here is what's going to happen. Salt? Is that a code? The salt goes kaboom? What does that mean, Epstein? What are you saying yep to? Why am I talking to you? You're dead. Wait tables. Matt, bro, tell them. Man, you could scrape up $32. Matter of fact, let me tell y'all what I saw. Dude, why am I on here so long? Okay, let me tell you what I saw today before I saw the man on the couch in his underwear. I saw a dude on Melrose and Highland, okay? Melrose and Highland. Very Jewish part of town. Anyway, so this is the media in the media district, right before you get to the media district of Hollywood. That's like the area that is like my stomping grounds, right? And this man had a big old sign that said, I'm a single father. I lost my job. Help me pay my mortgage and some other crap. I stopped reading it because I was just like, really, bruh? We out here hustling and you gonna stand out there with a sign talking about you're a single father and you can't pay your mortgage. You have enough energy to stand out on that damn corner. Go buy a bike, start delivering food. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. Okay. That was bullcrap. And I'm saying all that to say, this guy definitely could collect 32 bucks a day just standing there with that sign. So if he could collect 32 bucks a day with the sign, bro, imagine what you could do if you were actually putting in some work to get 32 bucks a day. And you don't even have to work every day. Just make $64 on one day. Skip a day. You know what I mean? Man, woo. Thank you for that, Matt, because I'm telling you, bro, it's so possible. That's why I get hyped up about it, because I'm like, dude, the other day I sat and did my numbers, right, for my business. And I literally just wrote everything out. And I was like, it's so possible. I almost started crying because I saw how possible it was. I was like, oh my God, this entire time I've been sitting here thinking, feeling guilty for making money, feeling guilty. And I'm like, no, this is possible. Just write it out, make a plan. It can happen. There's no reason that you don't deserve to get what you want. No reason. No reason. What did this say? Yeah, just stop talking about my goal. Yes. Yes. And I hate to say that, but yes, you have to stop talking about it, because a lot of times when you have a new idea, and I post this on my Instagram all the time in different ways, I tell people, like, what I'm starting to realize is that what was it said? Oh God, I forget what it said, but it was something like, don't avoid your calling, or don't ignore your calling, or something like that. Or don't be mad when other people don't understand your calling, because God was not on a conference call. It wasn't a conference call. It was just a communication between you and God, or whatever your higher power is that you believe in, right? So I'm like, why am I out here telling people that don't care about what I do, what I want to do? It's not going to register for them. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you have a goal, you do it. Just like Jalabi 99 said what he said, and it stuck to me. I was like, oh my God, that's what I want to talk about. That's what I want to talk about. I don't want to talk about the next apartment, that's going to be for rent. I don't want to talk about none of that. You know what I'm saying? No, it's not what I want to talk about. I want to talk about being the person living in the front and having 3 units in the back. That's what I want to talk about. Hey, D Nixon, I'm glad you caught the live too. Man, I said I was only going to be here on your... Hey, Mark. Now, that's what you probably want to talk to with what we were just talking about right now. Playa, not even going, you know what I'm saying? Not even going to spread the word. But yes, it's like, when you want to do certain things, unfortunately, you have to keep some of that information to yourself, because sometimes your friends, it's not that they don't care, but it's just that either they don't have that vision, or they have their own lives to live themselves. So I don't know. Why would they try to help you achieve something? They don't have to. It's not their job. It's what you're worth to Uncle Sam. Oh, you're talking about yeah, dude. I don't think I have mine. Nah, I don't think I have it on me. Nah. I always keep my little book here, my little credit card book. But I still don't understand what that means though, Matt. Can you break that down for me? Like, what do you mean? What you're worth? Does it mean like there's a dollar amount associated with it? Like, hold on. Now, see, bro, why did you do that? Now I got to search for it. Lord have mercy. Why do y'all do this? This is a credit channel, by the way. Wait, can you explain that, Matt, for real? I want to, hold on. Okay. Somebody named Beaver. That sounds promising. Someone named Beaver says, I heard an urban legend that the red numbers on the back of the Social Security card are your EIN, employer ID number. If you're just a regular John Doe citizen, you're an employee of the U.S. corporation, and you are in fact yourself a corporation. That's why you use the number on the front, your employee ID number, SSN. Is that what you're saying, Matt? Because because it says EIN, but how does that correlate to what I'm worth? You know what I'm saying? Because just because you have an EIN doesn't mean you're worth anything, is what I hate to say that, but it doesn't mean you're worth anything just because you have an EIN. So how does that, dude, you got to come on the live with me, man. It was a sidewalk. Yes, bro. And not to be funny, but he looked clean. Like his undies didn't look gross, but maybe I was just driving by too fast to see. But I was at the stop sign and he was right there. And it was just like, oh, that almost looked like his girlfriend just threw him out and he found a couch. That's almost what it looked like. So I don't know. They probably just released him from one of those places or something. Red number. Yeah, I don't see anything that talks about the dollar amount. But if somebody in the chat knows what we're talking about, he's saying that there's red numbers on the back of your social security card that dictate your worth to the government or something. But I'm trying to figure out what it is about the numbers that correlate to the dollar amount that you're worth. What is that part is what I'm trying to figure out there. So if you know, if you could type it in, that would be great. I would love to figure that out. Poor people get pushed out onto the sidewalk. They do. That is true. Here it's a little bit of both though. I do see some people that it seems like they just want to be on the sidewalk, if I'm being real. You know, it seems that way. Yeah, sometimes you have to move aside. Sometimes, all the time. I figure unless you're talking to somebody that, I don't want to say somebody that's going to benefit you, but like if you're talking about these ideas, like these grandiose ideas that you have, and you're talking to people that have no concept of what you're talking about, or they can even offer you insight on what you're talking about, at that point, you're kind of just talking to the air because you're not really having a conversation. At that point, you're talking at them because they don't understand what you're saying. You know what I mean? Like if you were to tell me right now, like, okay, like what Jalabi 99 said, I can't scroll up to find it, but what he said about, oh yeah, that's you, Jalabi. But like what you said a second ago about, you know, get this kind of loan, do this, 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 and that. See, that's the level that I am wanting to go to right there. That's it. So I understand what you're saying. But if you're talking to somebody that probably lives at home with their mom and doesn't have a job, nothing like that, they probably wouldn't understand what you're saying. And they would just be like, okay, you want to just play PS5 now? Like, what are you even talking about, bro? I don't care. And that's kind of how I felt when the lady told me back in my 20s, you know, oh shit, let me stop. Back when I was, last year when I was 24, when she said the $24,000 thing, it was literally like she was talking gibberish to me. I was like, oh, you think I'm a millionaire? But then I just broke the numbers down for you. And it's like, wow, that extra little step I could have took. Back to what I talked about with Inez Torres. If she had taken an extra little step and just monitored her credit, she would have literally been able to save thousands of dollars. Okay. But because, like I said, when she told me those numbers, the 24,000 back to the realtor, when she said that to me, my mind didn't think, oh, break it down into smaller pieces so it's more digestible for you, little one. That's all I had to do. That's all I had to do. Nobody was there to tell me that. And I wasn't bright enough to figure that out for myself. So anyway, I hope my little rant there made sense. But yeah, move in silence only when you have to, because if you're in the room with somebody that can help you, don't move in silence in that respect. You can talk. It's okay. There's money out here to be made to make excuses. Oh God. Yes, that's true. That's very true. Oh, hey. Okay, wait. Now I got to take a picture of the screen. All right. So we say investment 101, speculation versus investment. Speculation is when you buy something because you believe it will go up in value. Okay. That could be like, let's say like crypto or something like that. Would you say crypto is kind of like that, Mark? And then investment is when you buy something today for what it makes today. Wow. Now I will tell you, Mark, the interesting thing is that when you say the speculation part, the speculation part is what a lot of people believe investment is. The definition you put for speculation, people do transpose that with investment. Now, but when I read it, that makes sense. Like speculation is because you're speculating. You think, oh, this is this today, and it's gonna grow, you know? And it's like, okay, but what if that seed sucks? What if it's not a seed? It's just a rock. Okay, let's see. Investments when you buy something today for what it makes today. So it's not what you, so you don't buy something for what it will make today and what you think it'll make tomorrow. So does investment have a bit of speculation sprinkled into it? That's my question for you, Mark. Can investment have a little bit of speculation in it? Oh, that was great. I like how you put that though, bro. Right, Matt? Right? Okay, go on to Craigslist free section, pick up a couch or two, list them on the furniture section of Craigslist. You can make $2K a month easy. Yeah, I had a friend. She was an interesting girl, man. She came from Philly, and I remember she would get so excited when she would see like old furniture and weird stuff, and I would just kind of look at her like, God, you're weird. Why are you getting, I don't want to say getting off, but she would get excited about the furniture. And she's like, yeah, in Philly, like every Wednesday we would just drive around and we would pick up old furniture and then we would like sand it and do this and this and that. So she was telling me, you know, that's what they would do. They would repurpose or refurbish the furniture and then resell it. So that is something you could do. But here's my question for you, Jalabi. For a city slicker like myself who doesn't have storage space, how would I do that? How could I achieve that? And I'm asking because I would like for people that are in situations like mine, if they could consider something like this, what is the workaround for this? For somebody like, say you have an apartment that has no storage, right? And what do you do? What do you do in that case? Now, is this still possible for that person, or do they need to go to a different option? Do they need to pick a different money-making option is my question. Hey, Mentor Shelly. Hey, I saw, I was listening to your video, I think this morning with that story. Girl, I got so irritated about that coworker that you talked about. If that's a real story, whew, Lord, that lady was irritating. But that was a good story, Mentor Shelly, because I deal with a lot of people like that. And not on that exact level, but I tend to have to repeat myself a lot in my day job. And it's just like, oh man, you didn't hear that when I said it the first time? You didn't read that when I typed that out the first time? You're holding up progress here. Can you just do what I asked you to do? And that's it. Not your boss, just an auditor. But I need you to do that. Okay, not in a chat. Not sure what you mean there, but dollar amount attached with your birth. Okay. Dollar amount attached with your birth certificate and the SS account is its bank account, your corporation number. Now, I don't think Freely is here anymore, but I think Freely was talking about something about that last night. Now I'm going to have to go look at my live again to see what I was saying and what you guys were talking about. I'm attached with your birth certificate and the SS amount. Okay. Dang it, Matt. You're giving me nuggets here, man, or like crumbs. Give me the whole slice of bread, man. Because all right, dollar amount on my birth certificate. Where's the dollar amount? Bro, how is it attached? How is all this attached? Maybe it's down later on in the chat. I don't know. You're its representative. So I'm the representative of the documentation or the EIN. Oh, Lord. Strong man. Okay, Matt. You see, I'm confused. God. Okay, Mentor Shelly, are you talking? Y'all lost me. Okay. Do you understand what he's saying about that? Okay, Mentor Shelly, maybe we should go ask Erica about this because I need more clarification. Is speculation on your lifespan as a productive taxpayer? Okay. So there's a number somewhere on my social security card or my birth certificate that dictates my lifespan. What number on there is dictating my lifespan? I love it. You're taking me down a rabbit hole. I love this. By your families and relatives' death certs and the average age of death of your forefathers. Here's an interesting question for you, Matt. How do they dictate that when there's like single father or single mother households and dad is not listed on the birth certificate. Like, how does that factor in too? Because I've seen that a lot lately, actually. Kind of what we were talking about yesterday, low income people, for some reason, the dad is never on the birth certificate. It's always the mom. And that's it. So how does that factor in when it's like that is my question. Let's see. Cattle. You saying we're cattle? Oh, birth certificates or pedigrees. You know what? This is going to take a turn that is not credit related. And I don't want to know what pedigree I'm up in. And don't put it in there, Matt. All investment is a gamble. Do you believe that, Mark, that all investment is a gamble? Because you said that investments is what you will make today. Purchasing based on what you'll make today. Some more than others is the game. And Matt, when you purchased your property, did you do it as an investment or just do it just to have a home? Because I know that your property does turn profit for you while you live there. So is that why you purchased it, to make money from it while you were in it? Storage unit. You saying storage unit for the furniture that Jalabi was talking about? Because that would make sense. But then obviously we have to make sure that the cost of the unit is obviously, you know, factored into the profit and all that kind of stuff, right? I'm guessing that's why you said storage unit. Yes, hon, we were talking about it in the group. Oh my God, I feel so lost. Like, I didn't know this. Okay, wow. Bro, am I an American or not? Jeez. Easy, rent a storage unit to store the couches. Okay, or rent a truck to pick up the free couch and deliver to the person who wants to. Now, okay, I get you. And like I said, you guys know, like when something comes across my mind or whatever, I have to ask questions about it, or you'll find that out. Now that I'm doing more lives, I think it's given you guys a better idea of my personality type. You don't really get that. It doesn't come across in my recorded videos so much because I can kind of go either way. But here you're actually getting to see me work things through my head, and I'm very inquisitive with certain things. So it's like, if you say these things, it's like, cool, like that sounds awesome. Now, my question, like I said, again, and I'll be done with this. But in this situation, let's say I get the couch, I'm supposed to bring it into my place, fix it up, do whatever I do with it, store it in my apartment until the truck comes to pick it up. So I'm just going to have to sacrifice some of my space, and I'm sacrificing it in the interest of making money, which I'm cool with that. I'm cool with that. But is that what you mean? Like, you would have it in the case that you didn't have storage, then you would store it inside your place until you took it away. I suggest investing in something that gives you a good return. There are obviously certain things to take into consideration, year built, for example. However, that is not speculation. Yeah, because couldn't it, like, depending on what year it was born, wouldn't that kind of dictate whether or not there were good materials used and all that kind of stuff? And then I guess here, depending on where you're located, it has to have like certain kind of retrofitting for earthquakes and stuff for like the bigger buildings and all that. So I don't know, like, I know, Mark, you're like the property dude. See, this guy is who I would be talking to after I followed Jalabi's initial plan. Okay, remember that name, y'all. That's Papa Mark right there. Okay, Matt living the dream. Ooh, we're almost at the bottom. Okay, guys. Wow, you guys kept me busy. Y'all start talking later in the thing. It's like, dude, y'all be pulling me in. Ghost, ghost, ghost. Epstein's ghost, by the way, I'm not even trying to dox you, but I have a feeling I feel like I know who you are, but maybe I don't. I don't know. We'll have to talk about that some other time. By the way, that whole red number on the back of your SS card is your bank account number with the government. Is an urban legend. Okay, so Jalabi says that that's an urban legend. So now we have two schools of thought here. So let's figure it out, guys. Credit Solutionist is in the middle. I don't know. I'm curious, you know. Is this something I'm going to lose sleep over? No, because I'm already here. So if I'm somebody's commodity, it is what it is. Okay, it's already happening. But I just need to get my little piece of the pie before I go. Yes, Erica will know about I feel like she would. I really feel like she would, because man, that girl just knows, God, so much about everything. Is really admirable. It really is. It just rolls off her tongue. It's so crazy. No, investment is not a gamble. Speculation is a gamble. That's the distinction I'm trying to convey. Yeah, and Mark, and I totally understood it. Totally understood what you were saying. And the interesting part, like I said, is that, and I know I'm guilty of that too. Like I said, transposing investment, the meaning of investment and speculation. Because like I said, for me, when I think of investment, I think it's money I'm putting in today, knowing, and I guess none of us know. See, now I got to be watching what I'm saying, because my you know what I'm saying, my spirit family's up in here. So now I'm like, oh Lord, can't lie. You know what I'm saying? They keep me in check. But it's like, I was thinking, like like I said, when you invest in something like crypto, I don't know enough about it. And I'm not going to sit here in front like I don't have no money in crypto. Oh, yes, I do. Now, is it a substantial amount of money? No, it's money I literally flicked in there, and it was like, okay. To me, I know that that's speculation. That's not an investment, no matter how you play that. I don't care what people say online. That is not an investment. That is speculation, 100%. Now, what I was thinking as far as investment is like, you purchase a property. Like I said, nobody is buying that property across the street, one of those units, you know, a 1-bedroom, 1-bathroom unit for $700 and something thousand, without thinking that they're going to make money on it later on. You know what I'm saying? Or are they? Like, what is that? Why people purchase stuff like that? Like, why would they buy something like that, not thinking? And I guess that's the answer, because they think it's an investment, but they're buying based on speculation. So, okay, I answered my own question. Never mind. It's a math equation that allows for those numbers, and that's why they keep the stats. Yes, and to raise my kids in a non-diverse school system. Did you hear the question Jesse asked me the other week about that advanced class thing? That got me to thinking, like, later on in the week about that. And funny enough, I started going through my papers and stuff, because, you know, I'm moving. So it was like, I found all that paperwork from like when I was a kid in all those classes. And it was crazy, because they really do treat you different when you're in those classes. You're not treated like a normal kid anymore. And it's supposed to be a good thing, but to me, it's not. I don't know. But yeah, because I noticed, I mean, you kind of run business off of your land. And I think that's great. Invest in stock or land or metals or anything. It has a chance of tanking. It's all a gamble. Nothing is guaranteed. Not even Bernie Madoff can do it. Okay, what are people trying to buy right now? Like silver and stuff? Is that still something we should be doing besides firearms? Should we not be buying those either, or should we? Speculators are in the short sale and fast bucks. High risk, find moderate stocks. Over time, it pays off. What would be a moderate stock, Matt? What would that be? Hey, AM1, how are you, brother? I'm glad you came into my live. I've been going on for a minute. I think I'm gonna wrap it up pretty soon here. Yeah, you could put the couch in your house until you go rent the U-Haul truck to deliver the couch to who's buying it, but it doesn't cost that much to rent a storage unit. Yeah, it's like you're putting that money out there to get that return. Man, that's when I would have to wrap my mind around that one a little bit, because it sounds like there's a lot of legwork there that you'd be putting in. But like I said, I'm not saying it wouldn't make money. I'm just looking at the amount of effort that's being put into it. Have you done this before, Jalabi? Like, is this something that you've actually done? Or is it kind of like an idea you've been kind of bouncing back and forth with, like playing around with until you pull the trigger on it? Because I'd be interested to see how it went if you did it already. But not arguing on investing and speculating as gambling. Yeah. It is. I'm glad Mark said what he said, because it does give you a different perspective on what people think. Because like I said, even I thought, you know, when he said speculate, I'm like, damn, that's what I thought an investment was. Depending on what stocks or ETF that you actually invest in, as long as you do your homework and see that it's a solid stock or ETF, the investment is not a gamble. Leroy with goals. Okay. I don't even know how to respond to that because I'm not really in the stock game like that. Like I have some stuff, but I'm really just purchasing because, oh, that looks cool and they've been around for a while and blah, blah, blah. Now I do have a stock course that I purchased, so I'm going to start going through it. It's Mentor Shelly, if you're still here. And AM1, I'm sure you know the girl. It's Annette's Worth. I bought her course actually. So I'm going to learn. Still a gamble. Okay, so you're talking to Leroy. You got a 401k. Who are you talking to, Matt? I have one. Yeah. Traditional, obviously. And then I have a Roth. Yeah, I have that stuff. It all comes with the risk of losing your money. So does getting married, apparently, to some people. It's like Vegas. It has something for everyone. Meaning investing in stuff. I'm saying to buy a house for $1,000 because it rents for $10 a month instead of talking about the area, the market, what it will be worth later, instead of based on only two things, cost and what it makes. Wait, I have to read that again. So you're saying you should? Mark, you know, sometimes you could probably see when I get that bird or deer in the headlights look when you talk to me sometimes. I'd be like, what? Can you say that again, brother? So are you saying that we should purchase based on cost and what it makes? Or are you saying that we need to say cost and what it makes plus the market and what it will be worth later? Should we look at all of those things, all four of those aspects? And going back to that, I'm not sure when you jumped in, Mark, but I was trying to say to everybody, like, I am not an investor. I am someone that is an aspiring investor, right? And I think we may have talked about this a little bit. And my thing is like, I have to invest on my level, right? So this is like all learning for me. I'm like, if you want to understand how to raise your credit score and do all that, homie, you in the right spot. But if you want to talk about where you need to go invest, it's like, well, Mark might be your person. Okay, when investing into cryptocurrency to protect your profits, that you're acting like you want to put a stop loss in. Oh, you talking about some real like game here. I'm not that deep into it. So y'all read that, take what you will from it. I'm not into it like that. There is a girl here though. She used to be a credit person on YouTube and she totally made a switch to crypto. She went from being the credit queen to the crypto queen, like overnight. Amazing. I was like, dang. But she's pretty knowledgeable in currency. At least she talks real slick like she is, and sounds good. I would not be into the stock market right now. Metals is where I'm at. The market is too risky at the moment in all sections. Okay. Stocks can go to zero. A house can have its rents go down, but that is much more rare than it going up. Yeah. Yeah. And honestly, Mark, to be real, like, you know how that is. Like, you don't even have to be a property owner to know that that's going to happen in California. I was just telling them that, like, what, an hour ago? Y'all done had me on here for a minute. But yeah, I was telling them that. I'm like, sometimes you don't even have to be in a space like a property owner and all that stuff. You don't have to be in that space to see what's happening. If you're a renter, you can see the trend that's happening in California, in LA, in New York, in wherever, even in Texas. Rents are going up. Okay. Rents are going up. You don't have to be a landowner to know that if you own something right now, you're in pretty good, like you're in a good spot if you're in any of those places. All right, I think I might be, oh no, I'm on the wrong Wi-Fi, y'all. Okay. Anyway. Yeah, rent cannot go to zero. It cannot, and it will not. That's the thing. A lot of people too, and I'm sure you know this, Mark, being an investor, a lot more people in certain parts of California would rather rent than own anything anyway. So yeah, owners are always going to have money, always. And again, Mentor Shelly, Erica says that all the time. It's like, yeah, people that own property are going to be fine no matter what happens. Yep. Y'all doing a straight up full-on lesson up in here. I like this. And Mark, if you're still here, because I'm about to get to the end of the chat anyway, so we're probably going to wrap up. But I think I talked to you about this. What do you think about investing with other people? Because let's say, I think it was Jalabi, we were talking about the 24,000 in 2 years. Let's say that we were able to do that, and then Jalabi and I go in and put a down payment on a property. Jalabi and I know we don't really care about living on that on site. We just care about the rental income that we're going to be pulling in. Should Jalabi and I do that? Or should I try to purchase my own property just because I just want to wait and have it in my own name? You know what I mean? Like, to me, I think going in with friends is not a problem if you trust them and you have good lawyers, I guess. Gotcha. So he used that as like a jump start into something else. And that's how I really see any business that you're in like that. I feel like the first business is always the one that springboards you into the next thing, for sure. I have no qualms about saying that about what I do. It's definitely going to grow into something else, but it's like, I mean, this is my first thing I've ever done like on my own like that. So, so I'll give you a class for free if you want to learn. All we have to do is set up a time and a date, and I can break some stuff down to you. Leroy with the goals. You have been here trying to sell, man. Well, I guess you're not selling, but you're trying to get some emails so you can build your email list, Leroy. Is that what you're doing? I see you, player. Okay, they have IRAs for gold and silver bullion at 999% purities, tax-free in most states. You can physically have it sent to you and then get a deposit box at the bank. I didn't even know they still did deposit boxes. 401k is rated every decade. I mean, even if they were, it's like if you have a day job, 9 times out of 10, well, no, not even 9 times out of 10 anymore. I'm gonna say 5 times out of 10, you have a 401k. So, I mean, it's not avoidable, at least not with the organization that I partner with. Like, it's not avoidable. So, obviously I can change how much I put in there, but I mean, I don't care about that. I don't think I'm going to be there that much longer, but land prices in the city that have rents lost their rear ends on their property values. Come on, man. It happens right in front of your eyes, but no worries. You've been warned. You know, Matt, I got to say, man, the only reason I disagree with that, and Mark might share my sentiment. One of the really prominent neighborhoods here in LA is one of the ones that suffered damage last year with the riots and stuff. However, I don't know if you remember what Nick was filming. That's a pretty expensive part of LA. That's where all the Jewish people live. Maxine Waters lives in that area too. So I don't know how much their property has, like their property value. I don't think it went down. I really don't, because and really, this is probably just the exception, but I can't speak for any other city, but here, no, because those buildings were put back together within like a month of that happening. Like the next day, they were out there sweeping and painting and doing all kinds of stuff, man. I drove through it, couldn't believe it. It was like a scene from a movie. LA is like that, but I don't know. I don't know that I believe that the property prices or values went down here. But then again, maybe you wouldn't consider what we went through a riot, but to me it was. I had to sit in my apartment wishing that I had certain things. So that was a riot to me. And there were fires. So I say never invest. I knew you were going to say that, Mark. Okay, so we say never invest with someone else. It's much more likely you two don't agree eventually than big problem. Investment takes decades. Okay, you know what, dude? I got to get some people on here to talk about investing, because I think that would be so interesting. Because I'm still 50-50, you know, and it's interesting though, because I was talking to one of my siblings about, you know, when you think of it like from an abstract place, I'm like, bro, if you had this much, I had this much, we went to a certain city and we bought a property here. Then we went ahead and rented it out, whatever. We're speculating, Mark. I know we're speculating, but we did that. And then we went ahead and just kind of not flipped it, but like we kind of did the same process with a house that was around the corner or something like that. I said, dude, that's how people buy neighborhoods. You know what I mean? And those of us that did not come into it, because a lot of us didn't, none of us really did. Some of us, you know, like, okay, in my family, my immediate family, my mother is not the first homeowner, but like, she's the only homeowner that's that close to me, right? Of course, my dad has a house in Vegas, but y'all already know the history about my dad. So it's like, okay, might as well not exist, right? So it's like, mom has a house. We were just talking the other day. My mom's giving that house to my little brother. Like she already said it. So at the end of the day, I'm kind of like, well, damn, maybe I have to come up with some kind of out of the box way to obtain real estate now, because I'm not getting any of the family assets. I got to work that much harder. My little brother doesn't even know he's getting that house, you know? So when I think about group investing and things like that, I'm not opposed to it because of reasons like that. It's like, I'm not about to inherit anything. So I got to find other ways to get it. You can transfer your current 401k to a gold IRA tax-free. Oh, anyway, Mark, I was going to ask you, what are your thoughts about that? You know, people that were not necessarily born into real estate, but like they have parents or family members that kind of taught them the game, I guess. Do you believe there are multiple ways to obtain property? Does it just have to be one person, you know? And is it ever okay to invest in a group setting? Yes, the riots and ghettos clear the cities out. Detroit has houses, blocks, houses for $1. Yes, Detroit does. And I was looking online the other day. I was looking online, man, and I was like, dude, you can literally go take like $10,000 and go get you a house. But the only problem is it's not a house. You're going to buy a damn skeleton. That's what you're going to buy. You're going to buy something it's falling apart, bro. So you got to have another plan. How are you going to rehab that thing? Because, you know, but yeah, I agree. But like I said, here, sorry, in LA, we didn't feel the effects of those riots at all. We were inconvenienced. I was pissed, but like, as far as the city suffering, it's not. It's just squeezing out the poor people. That's it. That's all it was. So yeah, I feel like riots sweep out cities for the rich to come in, clean everything up, and build up. They don't build out, they build up. So that's what I noticed. The only way I'd invest with someone in real estate, create an LLC, have your lawyer draft a solid operating agreement. It shows what the profit split is and how much each person puts in. And it looks like you were going to say something else. Oh, I'll have to bounce back. Happens when the LLC is dissolved. Yeah. Have it in black and white before you get into business with the other person. Everyone is protected. Sounds good in theory. That's why I would like to hear Mark's take on that. Because there's just so many people that go into it in a group setting that it's got to be beneficial on some level. But obviously, I would like to know both sides of it. Okay. Listen, you know what I'm saying? When you start a business, you know the email is very important. I'm saying for you that I will definitely share the information with you. That I have a hard to be able to actually share. I mean, you should always share information, but I also believe some things do deserve to be behind a paywall. Absolutely. But yeah, oh my God, I would love to have Mark on because I feel like he would school me. I would just be sitting here looking at the camera like, Credit Solution is out. Riots can happen. Problem tenants are much more like, bro. Okay, listen, I believe I told you I used to be a property manager for years. That was some funny work. There will be problems. Just saying, time has shown buying and renting has outperformed the other investments mentioned. Yeah. Because people are always going to need a place to live. Like if somebody tells you that that's not true, that's a lie. Even homeless people want to be in tents. You know what I'm saying? So no, people always want somewhere to be under, like shelter. People are always going to need shelter. and they'll do communal living to get it. You know what I'm saying? Like they'll live with people. They'll, you know, nobody, man, everybody wants a place to live. I don't care what nobody says. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. Shelby Church and Monica Church, are they sisters or something? Okay. I'm getting some game here because I'm trying to expand my YouTube repertoire. I say never do it. Group investing. The whole point is to create wealth. That seems like a quicker way in the short term, but will keep you away longer from the final destination. Okay. Okay. I get, gosh. Dude, I almost feel like this would need to be like a three-way conversation. This, okay, my wheels are turning on this one now because, okay, Mark, huh? I want to hear more about this. I really do, because I was thinking about the last company, not the last company, the company before, a couple of years ago, which is funny because I audit with them now, but they're, I think most of their properties are in the family, but they also do group investing for a lot of their other properties that they have. But that's like a big boy game. These are like multi-million-dollar properties, and they're all here in Los Angeles. So they're going to be rich forever, and they're Jewish. So amazing chat. Yeah, it was really good. What if you and I buy a house, time passes, I want to sell and you don't? What do you do? I go talk to the wifey. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know, Mark. We have to give it to God. And then the lawyers, I guess. I don't know. But I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. There's ways around that, but I agree for the most part. You got to be cautious with who you co-invest with. Yeah. Yeah. Your family's crazy too, man. Family, friends, strangers. I mean, the stranger may make it more like airtight because they don't know you and they don't trust you. So they probably will do things right. So the stranger could be the best one. You never know. And with Mark on doing it alone. Mm-hmm. And then I think, like I said, my perspective, I'm open to any way of doing it. For me, like I said, Mark gave me something to think about on the speculation versus investment thing. I'm stuck on that. It's like, whoa, he just blew my mind. Twin sisters. Okay. I'll matter of fact, because I ain't gonna go watch this whole live again. Ain't nobody got time for that. I'll take a picture. Okay, cool. All right. Especially now with family. Well, if you have a horrible family, then no. But if your family's financially savvy and you're a real estate family, I don't see a problem with that, you know, keeping it in the family. Like I said, only time will tell. And who knows, like my mom may change her mind or whatever, but when I think about my family, like just to be real with y'all, like I talked about it in another video, but look at your family and see who did what with their property. In our case, I remember when I was younger, my mom said that there were plots of land that my grandmother had down south. And for whatever reason, her brother convinced her to sell them. Now, her brother convinced her to sell them. However, her brother has real estate. Why would he convince her to sell her land if she doesn't own anything now and he still has a home? That's not right. You know what I'm saying? So your family can't be trusted if they make decisions like that. Like I would probably never invest with my family. I hate to say that, but like you have to pay attention to how your family moves and operates to see if you would even want to work with them. But like I said, I think if you come from a family that's savvy in real estate and everybody kind of wants to help each other out, that's different, you know? But for me, nah, because sometimes I get side eye from people. Like my brother wasn't listening when I was telling him about the investment idea. He wasn't having it. He couldn't conceive what I was talking about. Not to mention you both use up your first time buyer benefits. Oh, when we do it. Yeah. When we do it together the first time. And see, you're thinking about everything. Like you're thinking like an investor. And that's what I'm saying. That's why the conversation, Jalabi, that's what I was talking about before, where you have to have conversations with people. Like you can kind of spit something out and then they can kind of correct you on what you're thinking. It's like Because on that level that you were talking, it's like you and I were like, okay, yeah, I agree on that. Like, yeah, I would invest with somebody and then do this. But then Mark's like, but wait a minute, what about this? What about that? What about that? So I'm starting to really see that whole, you know, you need people that see eye to eye, but the people that don't see eye to eye, they need to be somebody that's already been there. Don't listen to the people underneath that haven't been there that are telling you not to do it. And they're just saying it because they're scared. If somebody like, and Mark, you'll be thinking I'm tooting your horn, but it's like if somebody that has already done it or been there or is in the game in a different level can tell you something, then you listen. You know what I mean? That person you can share your ideas with because that person has already been there. But don't share it with your friends that hang out on the block. Like, don't do that. You know? TJ South, Mark, Jalabi, and Matt all spit. Yeah. This live actually took a really great turn. You know, it really did. And I was talking all that mess about Miss Inez Torres. Mark, if you did not see that story or hear about it, please watch it because it's so dumb. Oh my God. I put a link in the description of the video. When you see it, it's like, oh my God, this lady. Family, no matter the intentions, will control. Best to make your own path. Now, I do agree with that. Like I said, I can see it from every angle. So I guess I'm riding 6 horses here. How do you feel about co-investing in non-real estate ventures, i.e. entertainment? That's a good question. And you mean like collaborating and stuff, like on creative projects, TJ? Yeah, I was going to say, be more specific. This is good. We missed you at church today, Mark. Not that we would have like talked about this randomly, but. Okay, looks like we're at the bottom here. Where's the contract brokerage for musicians? Oh, Lordy Lord. Is that something you even work with, Mark? Because that would be, that's interesting. And I'll tell you, if anything, today I'm seeing everybody's making moves, and that is so nice to see. I am excited, bro. I think 2021 is going to be nice for a lot of people that I know. So I'm excited to see what happens with everybody. But let's see what Jalabi's talking about. All right, looks like we're at the last one. All right, you have to watch how your family moves before. Yes, bro. Because I was like, wait a minute. Like, as these stories are coming in, I'm like, dang. And now that I've made it to where I can hear people's perspective and my family about stuff and not get mad about it. I could just hear it and listen to it objectively. I'm just like, oh my Lord, I can't believe some of this stuff happened. And some of this stuff, like, how did some of these things happen? Like, if I had a plot of land, I don't care where it is. It could be in swampland. If somebody wants to come buy it from me, now I'm concerned because, wait, if you want to buy this swampland, why the hell are you buying it? How is it going to benefit you? Maybe I need to hold on to this for a little bit longer. So I wish I could talk to my grandmother to understand why she did sell the land. And if that story is actually accurate, I would like to know that, because I just can't see selling land like that. Especially if it's something you could pass down. It's like you have people to pass it down to, right? And I can't understand it. So I would love to hear the story, and I would love to hear about why a person that was in real estate or had acquired property and made sure their children acquired property, why would this person tell my grandmother to not do the same thing? That's very strange to me. So I don't know the psychology behind that. So yeah, I agree. You do have to watch how your family moves, because that's a very perplexing move. I don't know why he did that, but they're kind of at a point where we can't get a straight answer anymore. So it's hard. But that's why I say you have to kind of, if you can't find the guidance in your own family, you have to branch out. And you never know, somebody I meet on YouTube could be a person I invest with. You know, I'm obviously going to be doing my own investing by myself, you know, because Papa Mark said, I can't just group invest or invest with somebody else. I got to invest on my own. So I understand that part, but I also do think there's other opportunities out there. And I always say I'm open to everything, but if I could leave you with anything, don't be Miss Inez Torres. Do not take out a second mortgage. you know, monitor your credit. Do not pay some random people and like not get receipts. If you get the foreclosure letters in the mail, don't ignore them just because they're in English and you only speak Spanish. That's not an excuse. Again, I'm pretty sure at some point we'll get more to the story, but if you go and you read the article, it's literally, if you condensed everything, it's like probably 1 paragraph long. But I was able to stretch this into a 2-hour conversation, and they were able to condense it into 1 paragraph. So, you know, there's a whole lot of information missing and a whole lot of accountability that they're not giving to Ms. Torres for what she did and why she's in that pickle. So anyway, I see. Oh, y'all keep on talking. I'm about to cut y'all off. Y'all, I was trying to wrap up. Said the tone was getting lower, everything. I was ready to go. That's right, Mike. At least you told him. Don't be trying to come up in here like, you know what I'm saying? Tell him if you don't know. That's how you got to do. Don't act like you know if you don't. There is a time for joint investment in the short term. Okay. So yeah, I get you. The contracts, obviously, but my experience has shown me to bark up another tree. Okay. Sounds like that would be a nice story to hear if you ever care to share, Mark. That would be good to know. Because like I said, I do think, going back to this real quick, I will say this. It's like, I think a lot of us are now getting into a part of our lives where we're thinking about that next step. And like I said, the next step looks a lot different for a lot of us. You know, TJ's talking about investing on entertainment. I'm talking about the tax liens. I'm talking about buying land. I'm talking about real estate, whether it's with another person or not, whether I buy a dilapidated property in Detroit, which I probably won't do, but it's like, you know, I want to make an informed decision before I take the next step, you know, but you can only think about ideas for so long. You have to pull the trigger on something. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to still be sitting here in a year speculating on what to dive into. You know what I mean? It's time, you know, it's time. And ain't letting them buy and keep it forever. God ain't making it. Yeah, true. Like I said, I might come back with that story. I probably shouldn't even say anything, but I don't think they'll look at this live. So nobody cares about what I do. But yeah, I want to know. I'm going to look more into that because I'm so curious about why people get rid of land. It's such a weird thing to do, depending on where it's located, I guess. Yeah. I mean, most of these people that own these properties, it's like, it's not just one person. It's not. It's like, but again, it could be because of the industry that I come from. That industry is group investors. Typically, it's typically group investors because the asset itself is so massive. You're talking about these multi-million-dollar properties that have government subsidy. There is not just one person that owns it. Most of them are owned by corporations anyway, but the corporations have boards and all that kind of stuff. And it's not just one person. And then, like I said, that's just because of the part of the industry that I'm in. That's all that is. But yeah, but I love everybody's insight tonight. This was great. Listen, Mark, you already know, and at least 3 other people in this chat already know why that D word happens, and it's not what your average person thinks. It's yeah. Just control your hormones before you walk down the aisle, and I think you'll be fine. But anyway, that wasn't credit related at all. But yeah, so like I said, y'all stop talking, exchange numbers or something. Get up off my live. I got to go. But listen, if you can, seriously, take time to read that article or listen to the video if you missed it. It's like 2 minutes long. You could check it out. Cautionary tale for sure. I hope not to end up like her. And, you know, really educate yourself. Like I said, you know, make people aware. If there's something that you don't know or don't understand, reach out to your people, but also read about it. You'd be surprised at what you'll find out. Like I said, if this lady had made a $30 investment in credit monitoring, she would have caught on to the fact that she was being scammed. So she had no excuse. Don't feel sorry for this lady. When you watch that video, don't feel sorry for her. Don't feel sorry for her. For a marriage, have a prenup. on custody of children, no matter what. Dang, bro. That's like preparing for the end. I don't know. I feel I'm on the fence about that. I'm on the fence. Huh. Maybe, okay. I was gonna say, I'll wait for Mark to say something about that. Wait, what do you think about that, Mark? And then we'll be done, I promise. If you're still here. I'll wait a second. Or anybody in the chat before marriage have a prenup on custody of children. So I have a family member, he refuses to go to court to try to fix his custody situation. And I'm like, bro, you better get that straightened out. You better get that straightened out, because women get real crazy when your life situation starts to change. Let me turn this down. Dude, this helped out a lot. My place is so dry. It's so dry here in LA. I mean, if it's a smart move for the man, it's a smart move for the woman too. It's a smart move for everybody. You know, I think we always make it one-sided, but it's for the betterment of everybody in that case, not just the man or the woman. You know. Bro, oh man, that should have been the biblical question. Should you get a prenup? Sorry guys, only a couple people understand what I'm talking about. Can we be clear too? Prenups really should only exist for people who have something. Like if you're both renting, cut it out. Cut it out. Don't do that. Don't insult her intelligence by doing that. Don't do that. Oh my God. Wow. Y'all are a hot mess. Let me jump up out of here before it gets MGTOW up in here. Y'all tripping. Bro, they do. And half the time they don't even want them. They just take them out of spite, bro. Anyway, we're not going to turn this into that. And then mom takes them and puts their name on the utilities and messes up the credit. You know this. Anyway, prenup on children. Yeah. Dude, that's crazy. How about just make it work, man? You know what I'm saying? Make it work. Like, just make sure you got the right one. Just, you know what I'm saying? If you have doubts, don't do it. You have a doubt, back up. That's your intuition. God gave you that, man. Y'all better start listening to your gut. For real. I'm about to be out of here. I was gonna think about it. Yeah, that's why you don't listen to entertainers anyway. Like, why would you? A friend of mine got really upset with me the other day because not the other day, I shouldn't say that. And maybe he wasn't upset, but we kind of stopped like having a friendship after that. But I told him like actors and like singers and stuff, they're like paid liars. They get paid to like woo you and kind of keep you in a trance. Why would you listen to them? Like anything they have to say, they get paid to be somebody else for a living. Like, don't listen to him. You know what I'm saying? He's an idiot. Okay. And he probably, what do you call it? Predicted. He was Nostradamus on that one. You know what I'm saying? He predicted his demise, but he knew what he was getting into. So that's that. Just like Miss Torres knew what she was getting into. And with that, I'm out. Y'all better stop typing. I'm done. All right. So anyway, I will see you guys on, yes, it is, Matt. We can totally, there's always room to talk about that any other day. So they do. That's deep. All right, y'all. It's taking a funny turn, but I'm going to get out of here because, wow, I don't want to be that person that does 3-hour lives. I got to go. So I will see you guys on the next one. Thanks so much for stopping by. Read the article. Do what you do. Have a good rest of the weekend. And next time we chat, like if some of you guys come back, let's talk about different like investment ideas that you have. And Mark, if you're here, like you can come in and tell us if our ideas are good or not. But anyway, if anybody wants to get on live with me too, that'd be kind of fun. We can talk like ideas and stuff. That'd be fun. Anyway, I will see you guys on the next one. Don't know what it's going to be about, but I'm sure it'll be sometime this week. So be on the lookout, and I hope to see you guys soon. Creative Solutionist out.